Okay, so we're just streaming live. Fantastic. Okay. Cool. All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dawn Campbell, your host at the IAPC&M for the weekly session, Ask Us Anything About Accreditation. So I'm joined today by the lovely Catalina Floor in the Netherlands, who's got a fabulous blue sky from the holidays as her background. Welcome, Catalina. How are you today?
I am thrilled. Thank you so much for having me here to have this cup of tea with some mint from my garden and co-create something special for you, for the audience here.
Lovely.
I am very grateful for this opportunity.
I'm very grateful too, so thank you. So for anybody who's not familiar with these sessions, it kind of started out about, I don't know, 18 months ago, where I was answering questions from people online. And I thought how much more interesting it would be if I had a lovely guest to join me and we could talk about the real life experience. And not everybody that is a guest is IAPC&M accredited. Sometimes they're accredited with another body. Sometimes they're against accreditation. Sometimes they've never heard of it. And we just generally have a talk about their opinions, their views of the industry and the coaching industry. And people have commented, oh, I really enjoy, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. I really enjoy your interviews or conversations while I'm having a cup of coffee. So we may not get any questions posed today. I never know what's coming. Sometimes they come afterwards, but you can always connect online in the chat box. So just to set the scene, who are these calls for? Well, they're a half-hour session each and every week, except for the month of August. So this is the first one of the season. For people who are interested in joining our wonderful industry, Catalina, to become a coach and or mentor. So if you've got any questions, Catalina and I are ideally placed to support you and answer your questions on how do you add coach or mentor training to your skill set. Or maybe you want to find out about how do I work with a coach or mentor? How do I find the right coach or mentor to support me personally and professionally? Now, for some time, I was saying it was never too late to fulfill your New Year's resolutions. But of course, we're nearer to the forthcoming New Year resolution. So you've still got a quarter to address any outstanding goals. And Catalina, particularly if you're in the exec and corporate field, is ideally placed to help you. Maybe you are wondering, what is this accreditation? I'm already certified. Why would I need to be accredited? So we'll answer any questions that you've got about that as well. And then finally, if you're a training provider and you're training the next generation of great coaches and you're wondering, how will accreditation help your coach training course stand out in what is a very noisy digital space? How's it going to help me attract international paying clients or students rather there and move up the lead tables? Then give us your questions. So let me introduce Catalina to you properly. Catalina Floor is based in the Netherlands. She's a thinking partner to leaders of leaders. So she's particularly interested in helping people flourish, have agile mentality, be healthy, and be an inspiring boss. So I like to start these sessions. Oh, and I should say you're an accredited fellow coach, and this is just part of your overall business empire, for want of a better word. So I like to start these sessions, if I may, by asking outside of work, because coaching is a very encompassing industry where we're passionate about what we do, but outside of work, what fills your heart with joy, Catalina?
Oh, what a beautiful question. Thank you. It lights me up to bring light into people's eyes. And I do this by doing my best to live authentically and helping leaders grow in my career. But in general, I love to bring light in people's eyes. And I do it in various ways, and also for myself as well. I went on a road trip adventure 3 weeks ago with my 84-year mother and my 18-year son from Eastern Europe to Western Europe. And pure adventure with education. We went also to Auschwitz, for my son to grow. But we didn't know which hotel are we going to sleep. We knew that we have to arrive from Romania to the Netherlands to Amsterdam. So I wanted, to have a discovery journey with these members of my family, and it was an amazing growing journey with lots of fun. That's one. I love to grow and to pick up new things, to expand who I think I am. So this brings me joy. I pick up open water swimming last year and winter swimming. So now it's 1 year since I've been doing that, and I find it exhilarating. And since a few months, a friend joined me. So before that was my husband who was cheering for me. So these kind of moments, because life, it's moments. How can we uplift each other? And I find different vehicles, like two that I just mentioned you. So it's beautiful. There is a lot of negative things in the world that happened, and we can see them, but we can also see the light. And when we upbring others and myself, it's just, I feel joy. So that's and many other things, but these are two that come to my mind.
Yeah. Well, that's lovely, because it sounds like you've got a very rich and diverse life. And I agree. I mean, you mentioned the travel without planning to the nth degree. And I like to do that, or I would like to do that when we go off in our motorhome. Just get to the bottom of the hill and think, shall I go left or right? And where shall we pitch up tonight? But my husband likes everything planned. He likes to know exactly where we're going, how long it's going to take, etc. So I can resonate with you just turning up at a village and thinking, right, let's find a hotel, let's find a restaurant, etc.
Yeah, and that's my son, and that's me also with business and life. It's much more, and we need to put ourselves in states of uncertainty, because we live in an uncertain world. And if we are okay and centered in this kind of situation, we can be better leaders of our life. And by the way, meditation, which is another thing that it's my passion, it's my daily vitamin, what we were talking about, this helps me find that stillness and silence within in those moments when I don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes we go through fog, and also with coaching, right? We are there for our clients that go through fog, and we are there to help them, be there for them, a partner, to help them find their light.
That's funny, because that was today's guided meditation in a way. I was talking about the rigidity of our mind. It's very much like when a farmer plants seeds too close together, the crop doesn't have enough room or resources to grow and expand, so it withers and dies. And our mind is the same. If we've got rigid, habitual opinions, and we're not open to going with the flow and putting ourselves in another person's shoes, and being open to being challenged and changed. But of course, we mostly resist all of that. So yes, that was today's meditation. And I love the fact that your meditation is your daily vitamin. So yeah, we're on the same path there.
Yes, and it helps me, and it helps people that I come in contact with, and I introduce to this wonderful, wonderful tool and practice, and to live a better life. Let's put it this way.
Definitely. So the second thing you mentioned, and it's just escaped my mind. The first one was the traveling with the family. Oh, and the second one was the open water swimming.
Open water and winter swimming as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And you do that with a group, or just one friend, or because it's not something you should do on your own, is it?
So now there is a place I go to a lake, and there are people, like-minded people on Sunday morning very early that do similar things. So yeah, I'm not with them, but I'm not alone. So we are in this activity. Everybody does its own thing. And now that I'm swimming with my girlfriend, we have, it's a wonderful time. It's just a wonderful time. And I'm thinking maybe to increase, I'm now at 1.6 kilometers, but it's just not pushing. It's just something that comes naturally when we are becoming stronger and in one with nature. So it's really interesting. And of course, when the winter comes, that's not going to happen 1.6 kilometers, because sometimes there is snow and there is ice. So then it's a question of cold exposure for health benefits, for cognitive benefits. And then I do it 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on the colder the water, the less time in the water. That's and it helps me a lot, with my mind, with my body, decrease inflammation in the body. So that's a beautiful practice.
I know a lot of the benefits. I haven't done it myself. I'd love to. I'm kind of freaked out by the pollution, because I'm by the sea. I'm literally 3-minute walk by the sea, and I could go in, but the pollution puts me off. But I think in a lake, I would be tempted. Because I'm a fan of Wim Hof and his trainings. So the breathing and the cold showers. So I'm ready to put a toe into a cold water lake.
It's something to explore, I wish you all the best, and in your exploration, and see what it does for you.
Well, I've heard it works wonders for mental health issues.
We are so taken by the mental chat that sometimes we are not present. A lot of times we are not present. When you are in cold water, you must be present,
and very aware of your breath.
So it's great training to deal with difficulties in life, because it's a skill that you form, but you form it to become better at life. So you transfer it in your life. That's the whole thing as well.
So how does something like cold water swimming and meditation and your holistic health practices help you be a better person, a better mother, a better coach in particular?
It helps me create a more conscious response and not a knee-jerk reaction. It helps me have, when I connect with the stillness and silence during my practice, this, as I was saying, is transferred in my life. And when difficult moments come, or challenging moments, I create that space more and more in my life where I can choose my response instead of being taken by automatic pilot. And in coaching, because we come, I'm so proud. I'm accredited with the organization, with the IAPC&M. We meet different people. It's very important for us as coaches to do our work, to do our healing. So we are so present with the client instead of attending to our own triggers in a certain coaching situation or so. So having that space, being able to fully be present with a coach helped me to be a better coach. Now, with my kids, I have a 21-year-old and the 18-year-old. I tell you, when they were teenagers, that's a great lesson. That's a great training. So I taught them meditation as well. So they are using themselves. My husband I have a very smart and fast husband, and he discovered meditations through me. And then he's able, to introduce this space, because he has such a brilliant mind. Sometimes you need to come here, and there are more than one opportunities or, you know, views to take into consideration. So creating this space is important, so I have more choice in how I behave. And what questions to ask or silence, zip it at times.
Exactly. I'll come back to the silence because that's very important. So what I'm reminded of is, I think it was Viktor Frankl who said our power is in the space between an action and a reaction. And we have that choice if we just took it. And then I'm sure we'd have a lot less to be forgiving each other for, and to regret, etc. If we just took that moment instead of biting the hook and, you know, having that knee-jerk reaction. So I think this is a skill that I think coaches would do well to learn. It's not about asking the top 50 coaching questions. The minute the client pauses for breath, ask another question. It's about silence, being comfortable with all the different types of silence, giving the client time to think, but giving yourself time to think as well. You don't have to be perfect. You can actually say to the client, let me just mull that over for a second. Whereas coaches don't want to seem like they're not the guru. They don't know what's going on. They've got to be honest and authentic, and that space would help them do that, I think.
Yeah, and then you're there and you don't coach out of memory. Oh, what was the question number 24 in the, you know what I mean? Okay, to be fair, when I became a coach, I had the list of questions.
We all do, yeah.
Right? So, because we need to condition them. And you can ask the right question at the wrong moment, and the effectiveness of the question is zero. So what I learn in time, it's mainly, firstly, it's our presence that creates that space where we can create that space of letting what's best to come at the surface with a client, and not thinking, oh, now I'm in the step 4, so in the changing process I should ask that question. It doesn't work this way. It might work, at the high level, at the surface, but if you really want to help people transform, you gotta be present. And meditation is one tool that helps us, have more choice in the space between stimulus and response, what you are saying, right? But that's the area of personal development and also coaching training. So we can choose the response and be more effective.
You're absolutely right. We all started out with our props and the top 50 coaching questions and the T-Grow model or Oscar or whatever it was, until we developed our own style. But I think if you want to develop past being a production line cookie cutter type coach, you have to become authentic. You have to take away the mask of being perfect. And, hopefully coaches don't think of themselves as gurus anymore. The coaching industry has evolved massively, I think, in the last decade. And that maybe now listening is considered more important than the questions.
Absolutely. And there are so many different coaching styles and methods, right? We know that, from the push coaching to pull coaching. It's so, we can go in so many different ways with a client, right? You have insight-oriented schools, in which a relationship is established between a client's issue and the biography. But you have also the coaching as we have here, where it's there is a relationship established between in the presence of the client, and the change of the clients comes within, right? So there you have solution-oriented or problem-oriented coaching. So there are many different styles, and I think that it's a personal choice. I am a student and a teacher. So I wanted, let me put it here. When I leave this planet, I want to be consumed. I want to be a liberated woman, integrated woman. So personally, I've done all the therapy, all the things, so to live in a pure way. But it's a personal choice how deep you want to go for you. But what I noticed, the more I healed myself, the more present and courageous and open and curious was with my clients. Then I learned different coaching ways. We're talking that I besides my practice in executive coaching, I volunteer my time with a very big organization where I train and I coach. There is a different style, and sometimes it's more pushing type of coaching, but that's okay. But what my aim is, Dawn, when I'm with you, everything that's I learned from Tony Robbins, all I need is within me now. I'm here with you, and I trust that my unconscious sends me exactly what I need in order to support you to get the outcome of the session. So learning different coaching styles, I think it's very important if we want to be very good coaches. And then don't be loyal to a certain way. Just be present and learn to trust what's coming. And yeah. So that's the path I chose. And, I learned a lot during my accreditation with you, because probably we'll go into this. I learned about my blind spots, through supervision, through all this. It's very important, because we don't know what we don't know, and we cannot become ourselves by ourselves. So that's why, but I don't know, do you want to go there? You just...
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're a well-qualified, very experienced professional, so I'm interested to hear what was your reasoning for challenging yourself on a voluntary basis to go through an accreditation, to be assessed?
Yeah. So I tell you, it's very important. I used to be a banker, and I used to be a leader in a leadership position for a very large international bank. And they sent me to a course, I think it was 2001, and I realized that I want to go into the coaching area. It felt like home, coaching, training to help people be better and be themselves. So then I said, okay, I need to be more strategic about this. I was also making babies at that time. So I needed, I had lots of balls in the air. But then in 2005 or 6, I talked to Gerard, and I became an coach, Noble Manhattan coach. I really like the organization. Then it was not IAPC&M at that time. It had a different name, because I wanted to be accredited. I thought, I am moving from the corporate to have my own business. I don't have a big organization, to open the doors like I was having when I was a banker. So I need an organization that will help me raise my standards, be at my standards, and help people. So I graduated from Noble Manhattan with distinctions, if I may say, because I was so proud of myself. I said, well done, Catalina. And then, interestingly enough, because that's how life is over, I jumped from banking. So after, I got my accreditation, I started to coach in my free time. I negotiated with the bank to work one day less so I can coach. So I was quite strategic about this. So then I said, I'm going to jump into cold water. And how it happens is that I got an email out of nowhere after I got my accreditation from the largest, let's say, public institution in Europe that sets the standards in the financial industry. Let's put it this way, not giving names. And I was invited to submit my application to become an executive coach there. This was 2009. And this was because they had a list of accredited coaches. And that was the chance to be invited. And then I became, you know, a coach for them. And the last is history. So what I want to say, if you want to be taken seriously, if you work especially in the corporate world, you need a strong organization like IAPC&M or ICF, whatever it is for you. For me, it was the IAPC&M. I'm also a member of ICF. However, you know, it's like my heart is with IAPC&M and my mind as well, because I got so much support from you in developing myself. It was not only that you put me through a process in which you assess my level, but I felt supported. And as I said, we cannot become ourselves by ourselves. So for me, one, I got, my first clients, because I was accredited.
Yes.
And now I'm working, for instance, with organizations like PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. If you're not accredited, you are not in a discussion with this kind of organization. Full stop. That's one. So that is if you work with big organizations. The second one, because I work also with entrepreneurs, and not everybody asks about this, but it's for me and for the standards and for the level of my coaching, which increases through accreditation. Full stop. This is something that I'm super passionate and grateful that I did. Being a member of IAPC&M and being accredited, because this is how I grew as a person and as a coach. And I have my business card.
Together we're all stronger, aren't we?
We are. And it's, you know, it's like you can be very big or you can be very niched and extremely effective and homey. And this is what I feel in Europe. I think that IAPC&M is not only Europe, but I'm in Europe, and most of my clients are this years in Europe. It's the top of the range. That's me. That's my personal opinion.
Well, thank you for sharing your journey. It's always lovely to hear how long people have been in the industry, their training, because we're passionate about protecting the public. That's how we set up 26 years ago. That was our remit. It wasn't to grow the biggest coaching community, and that's never been our philosophy. It was always, if somebody wants to train as a coach, how do we make sure that the training course that they pick is the best one that they can possibly have? And if somebody wants to hire a coach or a mentor, how do we set some standards so that we can protect their investment and their hard-earned cash and their mental well-being, so they don't feel scammed or because at the moment, let's face it, Catalina, everybody in themselves and a dog is calling themselves a coach, aren't they? Particularly since COVID, it's an easy way to earn an income, because at the end of the day, it's having a conversation. But unless you've had training, unless you've served your apprenticeship, unless you've got a coach, a mentor and or supervisor that is part of your journey, you don't know whether what you're doing is of service to the client. we talked about the top 50 coaching questions. Well, anybody can ask those. It's not rocket science. But how do you deal with what comes out of Pandora's box so you don't leave the client in a worse position than when they started? And that's why things like training, accreditation, being insured, having a contract and boundaries, all of those things make you a professional in our profession. So I appreciate your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Yes, and we ask questions not just to ask questions to show how smart we are in asking superb questions. We ask questions to raise awareness in our clients, right? And asking these kind of questions, and of course, there are many different types of questions. We don't get into this now, but this is one part of the coaching skills, right? There are so many, so listening, active listening, paraphrasing, listening to understand and serve the client, summarizing. I mean, these are skills and competencies that you learn by doing. You just don't do it in a weekend. Let's put it this way.
Yes,
exactly. So it depends in the end, it's a free world. We regulate ourselves, right? Because the industry is not regulated. You have top players like IAPC&M, and we set the standard because we protect the clients, we serve the clients, and we make the world a better place, right? And we protect ourselves as well, right? We don't get into things that we shouldn't get into. Yeah. But I can't tell you, I tell you this. I have clients that did therapy after, while in the, because there was, and I did not tell them you should be in therapy. That's not, you develop a finesse, and you are there to serve a client. And it's not that I get paid, it's what is best for the client, because clients come to me. When I live purely, and you know that, Dawn, you're a meditator, business comes to us. Business happen, right? So I'm in service for my client, do the best. If the client would benefit now for therapy or whatever, a different type of coaching, I am, I'm there to do it. So, but this has, I reached this level of consciousness also through my own development, through accreditation, because I learned to think in a different way. So, there are so many benefits, I think, plus, in going through accreditation. And it's also, I tell you one thing, it's not only the title, but it's who I became in the process, and who I'm becoming day by day. This is in the end. Because I tell you, it was a tough, lots of support, but it's tough. You got it or you don't, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to develop this coaching capability with support. So I'm very enthusiastic about this.
Yeah. Well, you've talked about being curious and courageous, and I think that's skills that we develop as we mature as coaches, and the ongoing being a perpetual student, just being open to the fact that life is a lesson and a journey, and it's indefinite, and being brave enough to go for accreditation, because I come across a lot of coaches, Catalina, who have been coaching as long as we have, who say, I don't need accreditation. I've been coaching for nearly 20 years. Nobody's ever asked me for it. But I think it's one of those things, a bit like insurance. You don't know you need it until you need it. And particularly if you're in the corporate world, well, you can't even tick a box saying I'm a member. You have to be accredited to get considered as an associate or an in-house coach.
I agree.
But unfortunately, there are still a lot of organizations who make the assumption that, like therapy, all coaches are registered on a national body and they're accredited, and they're not. So we have to keep beating the drum and raising the profile and being a force for good. That's all we can do.
Exactly. We do our little part in our world, and then it's, critical mass will be formed when it will be formed. But, you know, we do our best.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. So what's coming up next for you? Because I'm conscious of time. I know you're a busy lady. What's coming up next for you, apart from being found on the IAPC&M International Directory? Where can people find you, and what can they expect? So if they've listened to this and think, I really want to work with Catalina, what could they expect, and how do they go about it?
Yeah. So I'm first of all on LinkedIn. That's very important. My website is there, but it's fitforthetop.com. I'm changing it. I'm upgrading it as my business has grown with me. So in the last years, I've got accredited in health and hormonal health as well. Why? Because I went through the process of getting into the wise years as a woman in my 50s, right? And I have lots of clients in high positions, women that are battling with hormonal things, with stress, and there is a big connection there. So anyway, I am passionate about health. I studied also with Harvard on the nutrition part. So I am, let me put it this way, I'm exploring what is the best way that I can birth something now that will combine leadership and health. So a podcast will come, and in terms of coaching, I am already doing them. I am exploring, do I want to do it for the more people, so groups, or do I want to stay one-to-one on the health side? So this is where I am in my exploration, but I am definitely coaching on leadership development, executive coaching, and health, on healthy lifestyle. So people can find me at catalina.flore@fitforthetop.org for the email. And on YouTube, Fit for the Top is my channel. So there are some interesting things there as well. Okay. And on platforms, I'm here.
Good. Well,
and on your directory, right? On your
directory. Exactly. Yeah. You might be interested in, I can do an introduction if you like to the lovely Leah in Ireland. She is a fellow coach like you, and she has 2 level 7 courses accredited. One at the start of a woman's journey, fertility, and she's just had her menopause coach training program accredited. So she's training individuals who want to work with women who are going through the menopause. That might be an interesting conversation, and complimentary. And I'm sure you would have a good chat over a cup of tea with each other.
Absolutely.
And maybe be a guest speaker at one of her events and vice versa.
Yes, thank you so much. You see, I love this. You're a connector like me. It's just, this is how we, uplift each other, and we, for the benefits of the world, right? We put light in people's eyes. So thank you for the idea.
You're welcome. I will do the introduction this afternoon for you, because I think you will hit it off with each other and enjoy another lovely conversation. So on that note, I will wish you good luck with moving the children to London University. Empty nest syndrome, Catalina, you're going to have more time on your hands.
I'm working big time on this. Exactly. So that's why I was talking, what's next. But that's for a different discussion, because that's an interesting thing that I also work with people. So
well, you know what they
with
say,
my executives.
If you've got something to do, give it to a busy woman, because they're used to juggling. They can always manage fitting something else in. So that's why you're a volunteer, and you've got various business interests over and above your self-development. So keep me posted of the development of your program. We will talk about it more, and we can do a YouTube interview to promote it. Whatever you wish, we're here to support you. You know that. So
I know
thank
that.
you for your generosity of time and sharing. So anybody who's listening and who's inspired to follow this path, you can ask Catalina and I questions on any of the social media platforms. I think this is going out on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. And of course, you can contact Catalina on any social media platform or the directory.
Mostly LinkedIn.
Mostly LinkedIn. That's the business place. So if you want to do business with Catalina, use the business platform LinkedIn. But thank you for your time.
Thank
you. Always lovely spending time with you.
Thank you so much.
Safe travels, Catalina.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank
bye.
you.
And bye, everybody. Thank you
everyone.
for listening.
Bye.
Bye.